When I hear the term battle rifle, my mind automatically goes to the M1. I think of every Marine's rifleman carrying their M1 in the Pacific Ocean during World War II. I think of something American made. I think of John Garand. John Garand enjoyed designing firearms, but he had never planned on it becoming a career move. His design of the M1 actually had came out before World War I had begun. However, the development and being accepted by the United States military didn't happen until the Great War was over. However, when World War II kicked around in 1936, this became the standard issue for the GI and the Marines. We all know the name Garand. What else do we know about him? From Springfield to government contracts, check it out. John Cantius Garand was born January 1st, 1888, in Quebec, Canada. He was one of 12 siblings, 6 boys, 6 girls. Unfortunately, his mother had passed away in the year 1889. His father, seeking work, emigrated the family from St. Remy, Quebec, over to Jewett, Connecticut. And an interesting thing, his father had named all of the boys in the family Saint John Le Baptiste. However, of his siblings, he was the only one that went by his first name, John. They all had odd jobs working in factories, textile mills, in repairing machinery, manufacturing tools to help their family survive. John had adopted the hobby and enjoyed being a marksman, shooting rifles and firearms, working in a shooting gallery out in Rhode Island. With mechanical knowledge as well as enjoyment of shooting firearms is where his story really starts to begin. As the years went by, Garand continued to enjoy marksmanship firearms. In 1916, Garand ended up moving to New York City, where he began working as a master machinist for multiple companies freelance throughout the area. Favorite pastime for him in the big city would be going to all the different shooting galleries up and down Broadway. With a passion for firearms and a skill set of manufacturing, it wasn't long before Garand started designing his own firearms. United States military, especially the Army in this case, were looking for a new lightweight machine gun. One of his designs he liked so much, they had appointed him as head of the Department of Standards for the United States in Washington, D.C., where he would begin development of multiple firearms for the Department of Defense. In 1920, and Garand was naturalized as a citizen of the United States of America. With Garand's design being selected for the War Department for bids for the new light machine gun and his new appointed position in the United States Bureau of Standards in Washington, D.C., first model was not built until 1919, too late for use in World War I, but the government employed Garand as an engineer at the Springfield Armory from November 4th, 1919 until he retired in the year 1953 in Springfield, Massachusetts. Garand was tasked with designing a basic gas-actuated self-loading infantry rifle and carbine that would eject spent cartridges and reload a new round using a gas-operated system. Designing a rifle that was practical in terms of effectiveness, reliability, and production stretched over time. It took 15 years to perfect the M1 prototype model to meet all the United States Army specifications. The resulting semi-automatic caliber was .30. M1 rifle was patented by Garand in 1932. With the M1 rifle patent and finally being approved by the United States Army on January 9th, 1936, and went into mass production in 1940. It replaced the bolt-action M1903 Springfield and became the standard infantry rifle known as the Garand rifle. During World War II, over 4 million M1 rifles were manufactured. The Garand rifle proved to be an effective, reliable weapon and was praised by MacArthur. General Patton wrote, in his opinion, the M1 rifle is the greatest battle implement ever devised. In 1940 and the early 50s, Garand designed and built a prototype bullpup rifle. It fired the same cartridge as the M1, but the magazine, action, and shape were completely different. It had select fire design and had a firing rate of about 600 rounds per minute. When Garand retired in 1953, the second version of the T-31 was incomplete. The project was scrapped and the prototype was retired to the Springfield Armory Museum in 1961. Garand's design was in service for nearly 35 years for the United States military. Garand never received any royalties from his N1 rifle design, despite over 6.5 million M1 rifles were manufactured. He transferred all rights regarding his invention to the United States on January 20th, 1936. A bill was introduced to Congress to award him $100,000 in appreciation, but it did not pass. Garand remained in the consulting position with the Springfield Armory up until his retirement in 1953. For his work with the Springfield Armory, Garand was awarded the Meritorious Civilian Service Award in 1941, the Alexander L. Hulley Medal from the American Society of Mechanical Engineers, and the First Medal of Merit on March 28, 1944. In 1973, Garand was inducted into the United States Army Ordnance Corps Hall of Fame for designing the M1 rifle. Garand had died in Springfield, Massachusetts on February 16, 1974, and he was buried at the Hillcrest Park Cemetery. And although he passed away in 1974, Garand's legacy lived on. The prestige of the M1 being America's rifle, being in service for 38 years. No other rifle would be in service that much longer until the M16 came out in 1963. The Garand has become incredibly popular due to surplus as well as collectors. They even licensed out to different companies to this very day, still in production. Multiple variants have been made. The M1 carbine, all the tactical folding stocks, polymer stock, upgrades, box magazines that are detachable, or just the famous Garand thumb, getting your thumb stuck when the bolt pushes forward after loading it clip-in. Canadian-born, but proud to become an American citizen, John Garand.